I'm born actually in Gauteng, and in the area town called Springs. So unfortunately, I was taken. I would say unfortunately, my parents, because of growing up, and then they said, your grandmother needs you. Go home and stay with your grandma. And I stay with my grandma in Limpopo, with couples of my siblings, and until I think in the middle of while our country was in the new dispensary, and we moved to Johannesburg because my father was sick and tired now, saying, no, I want my son to come back in Gauteng. Then that's where I landed myself again in Gauteng. We started a small business. I think it went very well in the township, and it became a successful business. But as times go, we're still young and not strong enough. Nobody's mentoring us on there, and the business had collapsed, and like any businesses. And so in the early 2000, I think of 2002, of course, as a young, man, I had to hustle around. Coming from the networking businesses also, because I was doing the sales, one of the company that employed me, first employee company called Bozim, and my parents were not happy and said, no, this is not kind of the business that you can do. And I have to start life now afresh. And I work for one company which I think brought me to where I am today, Makgoba Tubes. And one will say be proud in the health and safety environment. It has been a passion for me actually. And that's where I am today. Yeah. And being a firstborn always, it's a pressure in the family because you need to lead by example. If anything goes wrong, it's as a result of you. I've got involved in the networking since 2002, if I'm not mistaken. Starting from small, even without understanding the whole concept of MLM and being told that this is what you need to do, go buy stock, put the money, and it went wrong the other way around. And I think at the end of the day, it was a lesson. It has to go start somewhere else, and it went wrong, and I've learned something from it. And comparison with Dew Point, actually, when I joined Dew Point, I was also doing another company, and the guy who invited me to Dew Point, even though I'm not sure whether he's still on or not still on, I don't know, but I was also selling the product to him. Then he invited me, man, I've got something for you. Maybe you might be very interested to it. And by then I was not very interested. And man, I'm trying to make a money this side, because you're lying yourself that you're making money, but you're putting more money. And I did not understand the concept of Dew Point. And then he invited me, said, no, what, I'm going to send you a link, and please make sure that you watch it. He asked me again, did you manage to watch it? I said, no. I said, no, tomorrow at 10 o'clock, which was going to be on Saturday, there's going to be a presentation live. What? Live presentation? I've not had any business that do live presentation. Then he said, no, I'm going to send you a link, because if I send you a link now, you're not going to watch it. Of course, luckily, he sent a link, and on Monday, early hours of the morning, I said, no, you know what? Sometimes you lose an opportunity. Let me just take my time now. No one is disturbing me. I watched the full presentation. When they started to show Puma and Patrick and the Mauritius trips, and you are always inspired and told about this thing, but you don't see them. And that's one of the things about the networking or the different other networkings, because you are told about these things, but it becomes very difficult to testify it in most of the people. I start to do what? Watching other clips now, YouTube now. Remember now, immediately now it put you in connection of subscribing to YouTube now. I subscribe to YouTube now, Dew Point channel, and then I started going through each and every one now. Then it gave me now a more understanding of how the Dew Point work. And then for me, it gave me the understanding that, we don't need to rush the Dew Point. I think you need to understand the concept of the Dew Point, which I think it became an advantage for me. When I joined Dew Point, the following week was Tell All Tuesday. Then he invited me. I think, yes, he invested a lot to me, to be very honest. But it was not just an investment, it was a person willing to be part of the Dew Point. Then I said, no, I'm willing to come and attend just to see. So for the first time in my life, when you have to touch a person, for the first time, having the direct conversation with a person called earning over about 30, and because the clip will indicate that Pume and Patrick where they were. And then when Pume, no, it was Patrick who called us, where I think we're having the session in that side when they introduced me. And to be very honest, his openness in the business, and then he told me exactly this business is not going to be easy, but I'll only tell about people who are very serious about this business. What inspired me? He said, you know what? I see the potential on you. It really built me, to be very honest. He said, I see the potential on you, and if you can stick it, I don't think you're going to fail in this business. And it did not go right. Reason being, because I was focusing on the old businesses rather than focusing on Dew Point. And then also I was trying to use exactly the same marketing strategy that I was using previously with the Dew Point. And that's when I started to realize that these two things are not the same. And when I started now using the concept of the Dew Point, very, 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 to be very honest, I started now to see the result. And which I think is one thing that the Dew Point will even say to us, that they are not having any problem if you do different network marketings, but as they will say, you cannot succeed them in all. And that is reality. And I had to choose whether do I need to take them all, or do I need to choose a Dew Point. And since ever then, it has always been incredible. Ever then, it's been incredible. Once you download an app, let's go back to it, your first 30 days. Once you can master the first 30 days, I think in this business you'll never go wrong. They always educate us. That's one thing. And then second thing, beside education, they uplift us, because now this is a new information that comes in, and which is an advantage of a Dew Point. You're not learning one thing. Every time there's a new things that you need to be inspired. I don't see any business that will compete with Dew Point currently, not because, as Brandon will say, marketing statement. It's not a marketing statement. But we have to understand the journey is a 60 months journey. And then once we can understand the 60 months journey, it comes with difficulties sometimes. I think it was last year in our national encounters when you said you wish people can really understand what is in the rank 28 and where Dew Point would like to see South Africa in the next coming years. And, it made me to cry a little bit. And also when we saw the vision with Dew Point over the weekend, for those who are not watching the Rank 9 seminary, and I think it has been one of the most motivating one. If people can able to understand the vision of Dew Point, we're not here only just to promote Dew Point. I want to see myself top 3. Yes, I want to see myself on that one. And I'm doing Dew Point because I want to see myself there one day. And I've got a list of where I want to see myself probably in the next 3 years, because I'm working for 2 years now. And then I just have to make sure that I follow the concept of Dew Point. Yes, I want to see myself top 3, and it is possible with Dew Point, to be very honest here. At the end of the day, they become the business to grow us. We grow in the business because of those challenges. If you don't meet those challenges, I doubt if you'll ever grow doing Dew Point. Yeah.